Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and in this video I will be talking about this book, Mini Crochet Creatures. I got this book for my birthday for my sister. It was on my Amazon wish list. There's a number of crochet pattern books that I've really liked. I have not seen this one in the store before. One of the things that I really liked about it is these are very small, like the size of an Easter egg, and I thought that these would be really nice for prize bin for my class. This is written in UK terminology. One of the things that I use as a determinant on whether, unless you can't really see on the cover, and I didn't look through it well enough to see. Again, nowhere there does it say that it's UK terminology. But what I like to do is I go into one of the patterns. I take a look, because this is amigurumi. I know that if this was in US terminology, there would be a lot of single crochet. But I can see it says 6 double crochets into the ring. So that means this is British terms. And UK terms, a single crochet is called a double crochet. One of the things about this, if you take a look at some of these creatures, these have pieces of felt that are sewn onto them. Some of them have them and some of them don't. So when making a pattern for this to talk about in a video, I made one that had some felt on it and one that did not. The first creature I made was a little sheep. Here it is. I did not necessarily use the color combos they had provided or recommended. I think they had, I'm trying to find my sheep here. They had like a gray one, a chocolate brown, and a black, but I decided to do white and brown because I am still not buying yarn. I'm just looking around at what I have here and trying to use up what I have. Well, obviously I probably won't use it all up before I start buying. The pattern was very simple, easy to follow. And one of the things, I'm trying to keep the book open here so I can look. One of the things, when you start the pattern, you start over here on one side and it kind of grows into this egg shape. I got to probably about round 11, and I stopped. And before stuffing, I made the feet and sewed them on. I'd made the ears ahead of time, but the placement of them need to be in relation to where the face is, so I could not pre-assign or sew those on. Then I stuffed up my little sheep. I closed it. They have a template for you to see how to cut this out of the felt, and then I embroidered onto the felt first. Then I closed up my little egg. I think they look like eggs. That's what I think. And then I sewed on the face. Do you see how it has these white thread marks? And then I sewed on the 2 little ears. I will say, for me, kind of being a perfectionist, I really like in the patterns, she specifically says, sew the hooves between rows 9 and 11. And then sew them between 5 and 6. So for me, that's really nice. I know exactly where to put them. Some amigurumi patterns just have the picture there for you. And I need it to be very specific. Also, one of the cool things about this sheep is if you want, she tells you about this technique of brushing the yarn to make it look woolly. I did not do that. I just left it like this. So that is the little sheep. I have debated sewing it a little bit of a tail. I feel like sheep have tails. Well, I know for sure the ones that don't have fur, that have been shaved, you can see their tail. I guess if you have a fully wooled out sheep, maybe you don't see. The next pattern that I did was the butterfly. The reason I chose this is because this pattern has no felt involved. Again, I did the same technique where I started at one side and I worked my way till about round 11. And then I started attaching the wings. I actually, once I got to row 11, I should say I went this way. I then embroidered the face. I like reached in there and embroidered the face on. I sewed on the little antennas, or I think she calls them feelers. I sewed on the butterfly wings, and then I closed it up. The only thing that I did different is I think at like row 10, she wanted us to switch. Here, I'll show you her pattern. She wanted us to switch to a different color. She had 2 butterflies right in the cover here. Do you see that? And I just decided, it was pure laziness, quite frankly. I could have reached up and dug for a darker gray, but I did not. I'm also really looking forward to making this caterpillar. I think that's cute. The yarn that I used was worsted weight yarn. The white is Mainstay. The brown hooves is Red Heart Cafe. This gray is Big Twist Gray, and this is Karen Simply Soft. It's kind of like a teal variegated, but I just got lucky and it was all the same color. The wings are 2 separate parts. You make 2 big wings and 2 little ones. So, and then I needed some black for the embroidery. His mouth is a little crooked. Embroidery is my worst ability. So overall, these patterns were really easy to make, really easy to follow. Because they're so short, it wasn't that difficult for me to switch from the UK terms to the US terms, because you're really just using, I think in this one, it was all single crochet, double crochet, or for us Americans, single crochet. This one, it did get a little bit different for the wings because it was, in order to get it to go bigger, it went from single crochet to half double crochet to double crochet, but obviously in the British terms. I do recommend these cute little patterns. If you're going to be making things, you know, like a cute little, for kids, for like a prize bin, or for nieces or nephews, or little presents. They did not take very long. So I did time myself on making the sheep, and the sheep had a little bit more work because I had to draw out and cut out the face pattern. I thought I could show you. You can't really see on that little sheep because it's white, but she does provide you with this like little template. And so the sheep actually had these like little scallops I had to draw. Unfortunately, when I started to cut them out, it did not look like that. And at first I was feeling really frustrated. But as you can see, once I sewed it on, you can't really tell really that it looks that bad in real life. But anyway, I started with the sheep, and that did take about an hour. The actual crocheting part really was not that long, making the body and the little pieces. What started to get long was sewing the pieces together, doing the embroidery, cutting out the felt. So they really don't take that long. I would say I also wasn't working directly straight through. I was watching YouTube videos while doing it. This book I did get, like I said, I put it on my Amazon wish list. I actually looked up the price for you. It's $15 and some change in American money. I will put a link in the description to where you can purchase it from Amazon for $15. It does say in the very back of this book, which does, one of the pages lists the suppliers where you can, in the UK and the US, get many of these supplies and where you can get this book. They do have Michael's listed on here. The rest of these I've never heard of. The Knitting Garden, Inspiration, different websites. I suppose she has her patterns loaded. Pearl Soho, I don't know where those shops are, aside from where it says New York and Florida. But also she has resources on Instagram and Pinterest. The other thing in the very back of this book that she has is the abbreviation conversion for British to US terms, or I'm sorry, UK to US terms. Also, if you didn't know that we have different hook sizes. UK 8 is a 4mm, which is a G in US. Also, she talks about the translation between yarn. So in America or US terms, we do like sock, sport, DK, worsted, bulky, but they do 1-ply, 2-ply, 3-ply, 4-ply. And then their DK is a light worsted. And then they have Aran is what they call worsted, chunky and super chunky. The other thing that she has in the back of the book to help you is some tips on cutting out the pieces of felt. She goes over some stitches that you can use, or that she uses in there, and explains how to use them. Foundation chain, the magic ring, how to hold the yarn. She gives you some tips on that. And then she gives you a list and a picture of the tools you'll need. Obviously, yarn, crochet hooks, needles, pins if you want to pin the pieces on, a stitch marker because you're working in the round, stuffing. But then this hairbrush, and that's because some of her amigurumis she wants you to fuzz out. She has a bunch of different animals in here. She says 30 different animals, but she has broken them down into these categories: farm animals, pet animals, sea animals, little animals, which are pretty much all insects here, woodland animals, zoo animals. So it is a really good book. Definitely worth if you want to make a ton of little tiny creatures, mini creatures. I would really suggest getting this book. And with it being less than $20, this is a great gift for your friend crocheters. That's all I have to say on this book. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching and sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.